We're shooting from the hip today, baby. Bold predictions. This is way too early, people. Okay, we are in January. We do not know what the rosters are looking like.
A lot of rosters have a lot of movement to make to be ready.
But it is 2024 now, and so we want to do our New Year's resolution still. And I know we're a little tardy for that, but hey, here we are. So, bold predictions. We're shooting straight from the hip today, Brooksy. We're kind of looking ahead, but with every bold prediction, though, there's always like a little bit of truth to it. Like there's always a little bit of reason. You're not just pulling things straight from your ass. There's always a reason behind some of these like bold hot, right?
For sure.
And we're okay. Teams. Let's talk teams to start. All right.
I can go like this is all purely like you said, just pulling out of thin air based off of just like surface level knowledge of these teams and what they have right now based off of last year, signings they've made to this point. Do you just want to go through divisions, say who you think's going to win it? And then we can get to some.
I don't want to. Do you have division predictions?
I can.
Do you? I do not. I do not.
This could be raw. We don't have to go super in depth. Like, who do you think wins the AL East?
Okay, straight from the top of my head,
I think we can agree on this.
The Yankees.
I just spit all over myself because you said that. What? The Yankees? I don't believe in the Yankees. Why? Because they got Soto?
Yeah.
So they'll win the division because Soto's there.
I also refuse to believe that Carlos Rodon fell off a cliff.
Man, I don't know. We'll see.
This is bold predictions, Brooksy.
You're right. I'm going to go with the young guns. I'm sticking with Baltimore after what they did last year. They're just going to be better.
Maybe if Baltimore spent a little bit of money in the offseason, I'd like them better.
No, you know what? Yankees, it's going to be close between Baltimore and New York. I still like Baltimore. I think Craig Kimbrell does just fine stepping in for Batista this year since he has Tommy John. I think Baltimore's going to be really good. I agree. I like that young core. I think they win 100
hate what
games.
the front office is doing.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Like, do something. This is 2 straight years now. So a year and a half ago,
there's still a lot of teams that have to make a lot of moves. I think it's also early to say, like, why didn't they do anything? Well, they weren't going to sign Yamamoto. They weren't going to sign Ohtani. Like, there's still a lot of big names out there. So we can't say, they're not going to do anything. We don't know that yet.
I have a really interesting story on.
And I like Baltimore's rotation as it is.
Peter Angelos, the Orioles owner.
Yeah.
So I have a coworker who used to work for the Baltimore Orioles. I think he was maybe in the marketing department or something like that. And Peter Angelos is not super well liked across the league for the most part. Doesn't really spend a whole lot of money, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And from what I understand, he's not the most well-liked amongst his peers either. One story I have is that coworker of mine, who I won't share his name just for anonymity reasons. Every single game, Peter Angelos had a dog, a very, very yappy, annoying dog. And in the offices while the games were going on, he would lock this dog in his office for the entirety of the game. He'd go watch the game in his suite. And the rest of the workers who were still working in the offices had to deal with this dog that was just yapping away for 3 hours every single night, every single home game at Camden Yards. And then when the game was over, Angelos would come back, grab his dog, and be on his way. Wouldn't say anything to anybody. It is his office. He's the owner of the team. But that's just one of the many reasons why he's not the most well-respected amongst peers. That's all. So maybe that's why he's not signing Blake Snell, because he should be. He absolutely should be going after some of these big. Because when you have a roster like that, this is the Baltimore Orioles have something that probably no other team in baseball has, and that is a core that is not going to become a free agent for another 3 years,
4 or 5 years,
4 or 5 years, and yet they're not doing. So you have this realm of possibility of spending money, and they're not doing anything. Like, this is like having a quarterback in the NFL on a rookie contract. You have 5 years when you have a rookie quarterback. You have 5 years, right, until they hit free agency.
Right.
This is as if an NFL team has a rookie super stud Patrick Mahomes quarterback, and they're not doing anything in the offseason.
So I'm looking like at their rotation right now.
Rant over.
Kyle Bradish, Grayson Rodriguez, John Means, Dean Kramer, and Cole Irvin. I could see maybe one of those guys getting pushed out, and that would be probably Cole Irvin. But like those other guys are really good. Like they're not your household superstar names, but they're really good. John Means came off Tommy John last year and was still really good. So I do agree they should add like it's an optics thing too. Like even if you just add like one guy that is like a stud, it's like your fan base goes, okay, all right, like they believe in this team, like they're gonna go for it, even though they do believe in that team, and they are gonna go for it, and they won 100 games with this team. So and I understand the thinking of the front office is like, why do we need to spend all that money if we won 100 plus games? Now, to counter that, you get to the postseason, you need experience. You need guys who have more than a year and a half of service time because they have played in those big games. Because otherwise, you're going to have to go through and build that experience with this team. And most of the time, you build experience through losing. So, yeah, could they add some more experience to their staff, to their roster? Yeah, of course they could. But they also have this young group, which you already stated, that can win. So I see both sides of it, but I do think if you add one or two names, sprinkle them in, it helps them out. They need that veteran voice in the clubhouse. But I got Baltimore in the AL East. So let's move on to the AL Central. And I think I know what you're going to say. So Minnesota won it last year with like 88 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit was 9 games back, 9 or 10 games back. They had 78 wins. My bold prediction is Detroit is back, and Detroit wins the Central this year.
I am in complete. I don't want to say agreement. I don't think they win the Central. I think Detroit is absolutely
like a playoff
fighting
team
for a playoff spot, and most likely.
Well, if the Central is how it normally is, it's normally pretty weak. Now, with that said, I think Kansas City's a lot better. They've added.
They have. I give them a lot of credit. That front office went and got Renfroe. They've added to their starting rotation as well with Waka. Yeah, I give them a lot of credit. I like what Kansas City's doing, but those are a lot of mid players.
Frankly. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is an all-star.
Bobby Witt's an absolute superstar.
Like how much you have left of Salvador Perez. I think getting Vinny Pasquantino, is that how you say the last name?
That's huge. Yeah.
Getting him back after his shoulder surgery, like he's going to be a good bat. They got Hunter Renfroe, like you said. But I think the 6 through 9, 5 through 9 in the lineup, or let's say 6 through 9, the last 4 guys like need a little help. I'm trying to pull up their rotation. So Cole Reagans is going to be really good. Michael Wacha's at number 2, Seth Lugo number 3, Brady Singer, and then Jordan Lyles. So
it's not bad.
This team's a lot better. I think their bullpen needs a lot of help though, because they lost Scott Barlow, right? They lost. Who else did they lose? Well, they traded Barlow last year.
Yeah,
at the deadline, but they don't really have like anybody in their bullpen that you're like.
They had Araldis too at one point.
They got Will Smith actually.
They did get Will Smith,
and that means they're going to win the World Series.
So yeah, you're right.
Oh, there you go. There's my pick.
He's won 3 straight. So
yeah, they're much better. They're much more competitive. I don't think the Central is going to be as weak as it has been, but I think the Tigers can surprise some people. I think their offense needs a little bit of help, but they're like scrappy. They're like a scrappy bunch. So like, I really like AJ Hinch too. I think he coaches guys the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I believe in the Tigers this year. I'm not sitting here saying they're going to like a World Series contender, but I think they can be within arm's length of winning that division. And for the bold part of this, we'll say Tigers win the Central.
How about this for you then?
Okay.
Javi Baez is an all-star in 2024.
Ooh, said bold. That's beyond bold, right? I mean, I would love to see him bounce back because he's one of the most exciting players in baseball when he's good.
Yeah.
I I just work like I feel like he needs more fans. Like he needs to be on a team where it's like in the mix for him to be himself. When they're losing and you're playing games, it's 40 degrees in Detroit and there's 57 people in the stands. He doesn't react well to that.
Yeah.
He's like a big moment player, like WBC, World Series with the Cubs, like Wrigley packed out on a Saturday afternoon with the crazies and the out. Like that's his atmosphere. He is lacking that in Detroit.
Hmm.
I think that is a big part of that
I
because
think
it's still in there. You don't just, it's not like Space Jam, like the monster, take all the power out of them, like, I don't know. It's in there. I just feel like there's a lack of focus because he needs more, he needs something to feed off of.
I think with free swingers like that, and Javi Baez is the definition of a free
Yeah.
swinger. They're so inconsistent that they're consistent. In other words, when they're going bad, everything just goes off the rails. But if something happens to go his way, it starts to snowball. So, for example, in 2020, everything bad that could happen happened. He hit
Right.
203. He had an OPS of 599. And granted,
Yeah.
it was a condensed 2020
So,
season. But then he bounced back, Brooksy. The next year, he went and hit 31 homers, 87 ribbies, and OPS up over 800. So,
so I'm curious. I'm curious to see where he was hitting in the lineup because if you look at Fangraphs, they have him in the 8 hole,
you mean in
which
Chicago in 2020?
I just mean, well, yeah. He was hitting like 2, right?
To start the season, this is opening day. He was hitting in the 3 hole.
3.
To
Okay.
end
So
the season,
what helps with free swingers? Protection in the lineup because they're not just going to spin you a bunch of bullshit because they don't want
agreed.
to walk you,
Yeah. And
right?
that
So
doesn't that
like
doesn't
if
pose
he
well for him who swings at everything.
right, so like if he's hitting in the 8 hole and Jake Rogers is hitting behind him, the catcher, they don't care if they walk you, right? But if you're hitting between Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson or Kerry Carpenter or Mark Canha, like maybe you get more pitches to hit. So maybe AJ Hinch thinks like maybe I put him between those guys in the lineup to get him better pitches to hit, get him more fastballs, or if they are breaking balls in the zone. Because if you throw it in the zone, like if you throw it in his bat path, you're not going to get it back. We know that. But like they don't have to give him anything to hit at the bottom of the lineup. So I think that'd be really smart with AJ Hinch. Like, take a chance with him at the top of the lineup for the first month of the season, see what happens.
Forgot they got Mark Canha. That's a good pickup. That's a good
Yeah, he's
pickup for a young roster right there.
oh, for
Do
sure.
not forget about Casey Mize either.
That's an on base percentage guy too.
Casey Mize is coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's their former either number 1 or number 2 overall pick from a few years back. He's gonna be back. So their rotation's looking nice. All right, move
Well,
on from the Tigers. What else you got?
um, well, I mean, we go west. I think Texas is in line to have a real chance to repeat, right? So
As
I
division champions or as World Series champions or both? Probably both.
I think they have the opportunity to do both. I mean, this team is really good.
Yeah.
Still. Um, I think Evan Carter has a chance to be a superstar. I have him. It's a toss up between him and Jackson Holiday for Rookie of the Year because I think Carter's still considered a rookie. He only played like 22 games, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep. That's right.
Um, Texas is good. I like Texas. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think the Angels are actually somehow going to be better than they were last year without Shohei.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's not crazy to think about because I think they have a little bit of a monkey on their back in that they want to try and prove to people that they weren't just Shohei. And this is a crucial year for Mike Trout. Crucial year. If he has another, injury filled or he doesn't
I think
really have down
Trouty
years.
I think Trouty has a big year. I think we
I
see him
hope so.
play 135, 140 games. I think we see him back in the MVP talks. He's like I put down a list of let's see, 5 or 6 guys who I think will be in MVP talks. At the very top of that is Corey Seager, while we're talking about the Texas Rangers. Yordan Alvarez, obviously in Houston, who I think if he's healthy, he's one of the best hitters in the entire game. Juan Soto, now that he's in New York. Mike Trout's on that list. Julio Rodriguez, and then I think Bo Bichette
Really?
has a really big year. Yeah. I mean, he hit for a high average, and then you start adding him, some pop back in there. You have him healthy. I don't know. I like Bo Bichette. He's towards the end of that list of MVPs for me. But I think Corey Seager has a really good chance, and I think Jordan Alvarez has a really good chance to win MVP.
I made this argument on X, otherwise known as Twitter, a couple weeks back. Somebody shared some video of Barry Bonds, and I'm like, I find it really interesting. I've never heard anybody ever compare a current player to Barry Bonds. I've never heard, oh, he's the next Bonds.
Nope.
Oh, he swings just like Bonds. Except somebody did reply and said that they have, and this was just a fan, but still, he said, I've actually compared Jordan to Bonds, and I'm like, I don't want to compare anybody to Bonds, but if we have to choose a player to compare to Barry Bonds, it would probably be Jordan Alvarez, right? Left-hander, power swing, short, compact, to the ball, just pure hitter.
I agree with all those things.
If you have to
Jordan.
choose,
I just don't think I can. I don't think I'll never compare anyone and say like that's like Barry Bonds. Like I don't think I can.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Amen to that. Okay, hold on to your seat here. Pittsburgh Pirates will make the playoffs next year.
I mean, with the expanded structure, yeah. You know what? You know who I was thinking I was thinking NL Rookie of the Year. I had two guys. I had Yamamoto and I had Paul Skeens.
I don't know if Skeens is going to be on the roster come up.
I don't know. I kind of hope he is.
You had Yamamoto. That's not. I don't think it's fair for these Japanese players to be qualified as rookies.
Rules are rules.
There are rules, but I don't think it's fair that a 30-year-old man. Actually, Yamamoto is still young. He's 25. He's 25. Yeah, that's true.
You know what's insane is he has 3 MVPs.
I think. Nah, this gets convoluted too. I was gonna say I think if you're over the age of 25, you shouldn't be qualified for Rookie of the Year. But that's not fair to late bloomers, right?
Or if a guy's a senior in college and gets drafted at 22.
There's got to be a workaround with that. I don't think it's right that Japanese players are coming over and getting Rookie of the Year at what?
Do you think Shohei does he like what? I haven't seen odds, like betting odds on MVP. Like, is he still Acuna's got to be leading that, like the betting odds. Because my list is obviously it's Shohei, it's Bryce Harper, I think has a big year. Ronald Acuna Jr. and Fernando Tatis Jr. are like my guys who I like. I think Tatis has a massive year.
I think Tatis is going to have a monster year.
Yeah, me too.
So right now, the favorite for MVP in the American League, both Yankees, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, 1-2.
That's insane.
And it goes Corey Seager, Jordan Alvarez at 4th, Kyle Tucker at 5th, Julio Rodriguez 6th. Mike Trout is 7th. American League MVP odds. Over to the National League. Acuna is favored.
Okay.
Mookie Betts is 2nd.
Okay.
Shohei Ohtani is tied for 2nd with Mookie.
That's insane. In both leagues, you got Judge and Soto, and you got Betts. Well, Freeman's got to be in the mix too.
Freeman is 5th. So it goes
3 guys in the top 5.
Yeah, it goes Harper's in between there. So it goes Acuna, Betts, Ohtani, Harper, Freeman. Tatis is next. I think Tatis
is a very good preseason.
If you're looking to put money and try and win some money,
what's
Tatis,
what is it plus what 800
1400?
What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
What about Corbin Carroll at plus 1800?
I don't think he wins MVP.
He's got that same Ronald Acuna stat padding ability though. 45 bombs, 60 stolen bases.
How many homers did he hit last year?
25.
Okay. So you think he's hit 20 more than that?
Maybe. In Arizona?
He played there last year too.
I know, but he's getting stronger.
The ball doesn't fly there like it used to, dude. The humidor changed that. I wonder if Melky just heard my dog barking. Did you hear my dog?
It's the gardeners outside. Hey.
Oh. Jeez, man, you're rich. You have people working on your yard for you.
HOA. Yeah, I paid $200 a month. They better be fucking working on my
CVS is
yard.
breaking you off, huh?
I know. Tatis at plus
Um,
1400, dude. That's.
okay, I got a divisional. Okay, NL
Ooh,
East.
I might go get my wallet right now and put some money on Tatis to win MVP.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Who wins the NL East? Off the top of your head. I like Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't think Philly cares as much to win the division.
They don't mean doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have to.
Atlanta.
Okay,
Atlanta.
that's easy. I like Atlanta. Now the Central. What do you got on the Reds?
National League Central.
What do you got on the Cincinnati Reds?
I think of them a lot like
Like
I
the
look at
Tigers.
the Orioles.
What? The Orioles won 106 games last year.
I know, I know,
100.
I know, but they have a young core
Stop
and
it.
they have a young core that's very promising. Now, what are you going to do with the money that you have available to you now that you don't have Joey Votto? Right?
No,
And
I'm with you.
and
I
they added
mean,
Frankie Montas, which is a nice addition. Could be. We don't know. He's coming off of major, major
they
surgeries.
added Nick Martinez too. He's probably going to be their 4 or 5.
Dude, Nick Martinez is an absolute Swiss Army knife. He's one of
Bro,
the
I
more
I played with
underrated
him in
players.
Texas. I played with him in AAA was with Texas and in the big
Yeah.
leagues in Texas. He is great. I love him.
Every
But
every
just looking at Cincinnati's lineup, it doesn't. It's like okay, like they're scrappy, kind of like Detroit. Like okay, there's some guys that can do some stuff, but like meh. So does St. Louis win the Central?
No. No.
Who wins it? Not Milwaukee. Don't you dare say Milwaukee.
No. Milwaukee, I could see Milwaukee clean house this year.
Well, I need to see more from the Cubs to be. I think that's going to be a weak division.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati can be in the mix.
Pittsburgh.
No, I get Pittsburgh too, but I just don't.
Brian Hayes showed some pop last year, which is what we've been waiting to
Why
see.
did you boo boo St. Louis? Like they
I,
have a good roster.
I don't think Lance Lynn. I think Sonny Gray is a
No,
great pickup, but I don't think Lance
Lance Lynn
Lynn.
isn't your headline starter. He's a guy to eat innings, so your bullpen doesn't get destroyed.
I think their rotation is still not great.
Right. So, but name a better one in the division.
At this point, right now, Milwaukee has a better starting rotation.
Why? Because they have Corbin Burns right now.
Yeah, and they have Freddie Peralta.
I like Freddie. Freddie Peralta. I'm looking at guys to. Yeah, but man, I don't know. I just don't feel like Milwaukee's got it, man. Their
It's
offense
the
stinks.
biggest thing with Pittsburgh for me, and this is shooting from the hip, bold predictions episode. I don't know if Pittsburgh has enough pitching to win a division, but I do think with these young kids coming along, and maybe Paul Skeens, as you mentioned earlier, if Paul Skeens is able to fill a spot in that rotation, I think Pittsburgh's fighting for a spot, man. I think they're going to get O'Neal Cruz back. It's huge.
Yeah, I'm going St. Louis in Central,
St. Louis. I'm not saying it's awful.
and I think Cincinnati and Pittsburgh are in a fight for second in that division and a wild card spot.
Yeah.
I think
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee stinks this year.
I think
the
Milwaukee could
Cubs.
go two ways.
I think the 4 teams. I don't know if there's going to be one team that just like sucks and is like way below everyone. I think there's going to be St. Louis, and then 7 or 8 games below them is the rest of the division, like relatively close in record. And I think St. Louis wins 91, 92 games. And I think the rest of the division is between 76 and 85 wins.
Do you want Cy Young odds? Be
Let me see
curious.
what I wrote down for Cy Young. Um, I have Yamamoto, I have Max Fried, I have Freddie Peralta, and Walker Buehler.
Interesting. You had Freddie Peralta.
Mm-hmm.
Walker Bueller's not going to. He's not going to rack up enough innings.
Oh no, we don't know that.
Yamamoto might. Yamamoto is a horse.
Walker Buehler gave himself extra time by not coming back. He could have come back in the postseason last year, but he
That's
didn't.
true.
So
Right.
he's got a full off season to ramp. I think he'll be fine. He's got a brand new elbow.
National League Cy Young odds leaders: Spencer Strider plus
Yep.
550, Zach Wheeler plus 850, Logan Webb plus 1,000, Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, Max Fried, Kodai Senga. Watch out for Kodai Senga. He used to look at his strikeout percentages and his ability to miss barrels
So they don't think Yamamoto's even gonna sniff it.
He's 10th plus 1,600.
Ridiculous to me.
Actually, he's tied for 8th. I'm sorry. He's tied for 8th plus 1,600, depending on which odds you're looking at here. I think Glasnow could have a chance too, honestly. Another
I think Walker Buehler has a really, really good year because there's all this focus on Yamamoto and then, well, not Ohtani because he's not pitching this year, but I think Walker Buehler, if he can get his pants like one size bigger, he's gonna have a great year. Like great year.
All right, I don't think we went over the West. That's the last couple divisions. Or
Oh, Dodgers.
We did the
I mean,
American
I
League
think
West.
Arizona's good. I think Arizona is a playoff team. I don't know if the Padres make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's tough.
I think they'll be in the mix for a wild card spot, but I think the Dodgers win the division.
If Tatis is the MVP candidate that we think he can be, they can make the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, but one player, I mean,
No, I know.
Mike Trout was that dude for a long time and they didn't go to the playoffs. So
But if you looked at the team last year, like when Tatis was rolling, the team was rolling. And then when Tatis would go on a little bit of a cold spell, the rest of the team would go on a cold spell. Like the team that Tatis is.
I mean, I get it. Like he's a spark plug, right? Like he's that dude who just like gets them going. I get that, but like
when Soto came to San Diego, it's not that the fans didn't like Soto. I think they liked Soto, but they didn't embrace Soto the way that they have embraced Tatis. Saved this franchise. Like truly, like this franchise had been in the dumps for decades. All of a sudden, Tatis comes up. They make the playoffs.
yeah,
They end the drought. Tatis is San Diego.
yeah. I mean, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in their lineup. Really good. Bogart, Tatis, Cronenworth, Machado, Kim. I could see Kim still being like on the trading block.
Their rotation is suspect.
Musgrove, Darvish, Michael King, newly acquired in the Soto trade. Randy Vasquez, and then Pedro Avila they have right now.
That's not going to be what it looks like. Not the last couple, but
I mean, who?
they're going to look to sign somebody probably or trade for somebody.
They don't bring back Snell, right?
No, they can't afford him. Their payroll went
They're
from
shedding money, yeah.
their payroll has gone from number 2 in the league, and they're down to, let's say it's 13th. So, yeah, they dropped a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Bold predictions. Is that all you got? What else do you have? I know you have a list. Laundry. I want to get to every single one of them before we log off here.
I don't know a whole lot. I think I had manager of the year for the AL. I had AJ Hinch because the Tigers make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
And then my other one was, I mean, very bold. David Bell, Reds, if they get to the playoffs. But that's them like winning the division.
Why do you do a little smirk every time you mention the Reds?
Because it's like, I don't believe it yet.
Is there a team that like you don't want to publicly announce your belief in yet, but you kind of have a little thing for?
I mean, I think that was the Tigers.
Tigers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Tigers.
I
really like AJ Hinch and I like their pitching staff. I think Tarik Skubal gets Cy Young votes.
Does Trevor Bauer pitch in 2024 in Major League Baseball?
Oh man.
I know.
My initial reaction is no. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a job. He had a really good year last year.
He did.
So it's just I mean, we don't have to get in the details. Obviously, like everyone knows his story. It's just if it's going to bring a lot of distraction to a franchise, to an organization. So it's like, do you want to have deal with that?
Yeah.
And I don't think a big market team does that.
I'm not going to publicly announce this at all because I could get just completely shat on for it because it doesn't even make sense yet. But this is shooting from the hip, bold predictions. I won't make it a prediction, but don't be surprised if the move from Oakland to Las Vegas falls through. There's a lot of shadiness going on, and I know it already got approved by Major League Baseball owners. And I'm not saying they're going to stay in Oakland.
I don't even know where this is coming from.
So right now, they are still at a loss. They're looking for money to be able to move the team to Vegas, to build a stadium in Vegas. They don't have enough funds right now to complete the move. And yet it's been completely unanimously approved by Major League Baseball owners. But what I'm saying is, until those shovels hit the ground, don't be surprised if Vegas isn't the ultimate destination for the Oakland Athletics. Just don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Don't be surprised if some rich billionaire comes out of the weeds and says, "Hey, Nashville, I want him in Nashville," and Nashville swoops him up, and Major League Baseball finds a way to do it.
Their AAA team was there for years.
Yeah.
When I played against Oakland in AAA, when they were in the PCL, they were in Nashville.
Just don't be surprised if in 2024 the Oakland A's have some weird things going on about relocation. Don't be surprised. I feel like
you got scoops right now. You got scoops?
I know people.
That's true.
Okay, go get your kids. They're probably like, "Daddy, yeah, Dad's abandoning me again."
Again? There's a reason we haven't been doing podcasts lately.
Wake and Rake Podcast, people. Thank you for tuning in. Talk soon. Peace out.